Good day, good day. We are recording and we are also live on Facebook today. Good morning, everyone. My name is Crystal Sayers and I am coming to you from New Beginnings Health and Wellness. Hope you're doing amazing and that you had a really great weekend. I'm just here to give you just a mini body talk session for those who are interested. And today's focus is going to be on the immune system. So we want to just increase and boost the immune system and just so that you can become more resilient physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in every way. Okay, so I'm just going to get started. I'm just going to kind of tune in here and see where we are going today. So I have a large protocol chart that has been memorized, procedure chart as well. And so I use that as well as asking yes, no questions of the body. And this will be for whoever is actually watching. So when it resonates with you, I'm going to actually ask you to do some specific tapping, which actually causes an interruption within the body's circuitry. And we're asking the body to focus specifically on these issues. And our agenda today is around immune system. So I hope you enjoy. And of course, you are welcome to contact me if you have any questions or anything like that. Happy to answer or whatever it is that you need. Okay, so let's just get started. So just take some nice deep breaths and just relax your body. Just if you're sitting or standing, wherever you are, just feel your body in your chair, or if you're in your car, wherever you are. Making sure my sound is up. Okay. So the first place that we're starting is with a body part, and that is the brain. So we're starting with the brain, and I'm just seeing if there's a specific focus on the brain. So yes, we're going a little more specific. We're going to the reptilian part of the brain. Just going to take some notes here. So that's like the core. So we have three parts of the brain. So there's the reptilian brain, the limbic brain, which goes over top, and then you have the cortex, which goes over top of that. And so the reptilian brain has to do with managing a lot of it's unconscious. So it'd be things like our reflexes, our body temperature, our heart rate, things like that. So this is like the most basic aspects related to life. And so it manages that. Okay, so we're in the what is known as the reptilian part of the brain, and so we have some details on this. So when we have details, it just means that there's something else that is coming up. It's kind of like we're being a witness. What we're doing really is observing things that are already maybe going on within the body mind complex, and as a result, as those things come to the surface, then they can also be released. So the body's ability to heal and to resynchronize. So that means the brain wants to talk to some other part of the body as well. And so as we reestablish the communication between those two areas, what happens is optimal health. And so the body initiates the healing on its own. All we're doing is just recognizing what needs to be resynchronized and what areas need to be communicating better. Okay. So we have a detail on this as an orientation to work. So an orientation is something that is external that actually may be affecting us. So our belief systems, how we feel about our environment that we're in, whether you're working from home or working at an office, or even if you're a stay-at-home mom, whatever work looks like to you, that's what we're bringing into part of the formula for this little session here. We also have an orientation to money. So, concerns around money, and specifically, what's coming up is the concern about not having enough money. So, the worry and the fear around not having enough. When we have these types of stresses, it affects our physical health, it affects our mental health, which also, stress they know is one of the number one causes of sickness and illness. And so, if we can reduce stress, we actually can boost the immune system. So, that's kind of really what we're focusing on here today. And then the other thing that's coming up is other people's emotions. So these are not your emotions, but the emotions of other people. So being affected by how other people may be responding, specifically, what is coming up is anger, even outrage. So anger, the sort of people being outraged, that type of thing. Fear as well is also coming up. And it's around questions of like what am I going to do, the fear of not knowing like what's actually next or what's coming next. So what can happen is we often will, so, when we're in a season like we are in, especially with COVID, it's like we're bracing ourselves for another, challenging situation or whatever. And so that puts our body actually into sort of the fight, flight, freeze mode, which is a stress response. And what we want to do is we want to get the body calmed down. We want to calm the nervous system down. We want the body to be in healing mode, which is out of the which is out of the fight, flight, freeze mode and into parasympathetic, which allows for healing. Okay. So now we're linking the brain, so the reptilian part, which is the part that we're mostly unconscious about. It relates, like I said, to our reflexes. It manages our body temperature, our breathing, things like that. And so we're linking that part of the brain to something else in the body that it needs to communicate better. So we'll just see what else is coming up. So specifically the heart, so the organ of the heart. And as you know, I mean, the heart is related to circulating, it circulates information, but it also symbolizes balance. The heart helps to bring balance within the whole entire body because it's circulating blood, it's circulating oxygen. It also represents the ability to love, to accept yourself, to love yourself, and to be able to give love as well. So each time we have a body talk session, we're not only dealing with the physical aspects, we're also dealing oftentimes with belief systems that we have that actually, um, depending on what the belief system is, that can cause a rigidity, which actually causes breakdowns in the body system at times. So we're also dealing with the mental, the emotional side of things as well. Okay, so we're linking the heart to the pericardium. Now, the pericardium is a sac that is around the heart. It actually protects the heart. And so this is related to protection. So there's a physical element to protection, but then there's also not only what is the function of the pericardium, but what could it symbolize? It symbolizes the whole aspect of protecting our hearts, right? Sometimes we can be overprotective and not vulnerable, to the people who would be trustworthy, for example, and because we've been hurt in the past. And so what we want to do is just balance even the belief systems around the need to protect, overprotect. And if there's areas where we've been underprotecting and people have kind of walked all over us, or it's been a continual process of being hurt or injured, we want to actually build that sort of heart wall to be stronger. And so that you're not getting stepped on and injured all the time, but you have an ability to be resilient. Okay, so we've linked the reptilian part of the brain into the heart. and then from the heart into the pericardium. And there's an aspect with the pericardium, there's a definition on this. So a definition is something related to the internal side of things. And we're dealing with a definition on the physical functions, so physiology of the pericardium, which I said before, one of the major elements of that is around protecting the heart and keeping it safe physically. And I know it does many other things, but I'm not going to look it all up at the moment. The other thing that is coming up related to this is an increase in the resiliency related to the pericardium. So we want to increase, it's not really that we want to, the body wants to increase the strength of the pericardium for protection. Okay, we'll just see what else. So the other thing that's coming up related to this is a definition of an emotion. This means that it's something internal. So it's not external to us. It may be something that we may have felt before or are feeling, but it needs to be released. And this is grief. So the emotion of grief. And the amazing thing about grief is that actually it is a gift, because grief is not necessarily a negative thing. Grief actually helps us to process and then to move on. It helps us to move forward. So we want to release the emotion of grief that may be trapped in the pericardium, which is the sac around the heart, so that that part can actually function optimally. Okay. And associated with the grief is loss. So, having experienced losses, whatever those may be to you, it's going to be different for everyone. But issues around loss. So, if you've lost a loved one, or you've lost your job, or you've lost a relationship, or I mean, there's so many things. So, whatever is resonating with you right now around grief and loss, or that is a part of this formula today. And thank you to everyone who's watching. It's great to have you here. Okay, so what else are we? I'm just checking. So I'm kind of going through my protocol chart. Okay, so we're doing another link into the lymph system. So the lymph system, the body has a series of lymph nodes. And the best way that I can describe the lymph system is that it's like the garbage truck of the body. So the lymph system's job is what the lymph does throughout the body. It's this kind of clear, sometimes a little bit yellowy fluid. So if you had an injury, say you cut your finger, it'll sometimes seep a little bit of what would interstitial fluid, which is also known as lymph. And so what the lymph does is it actually bathes the tissues and the cells, and then it brings kind of all the garbage stuff into the nodes. And so what this technique does is it actually helps to get the nodes cleared out and to move the waste out and toxins and things like that from the body. So this is really great. Obviously, when we're sick or we have something going on, we want the lymph system working really well. And so what can happen with the lymph system is it can be very sluggish. And the lymph system really requires movement. So, for example, walking, exercise, things like that, because it doesn't have a pump in the same way, like it doesn't pump the same amount or as fast as the heart does. The pumping is quite slow. And so if the lymph system is sluggish, then what can happen is those toxins and the waste can be stored in the body. And what this technique does is it clears out the lymph nodes and actually helps to get anything that's sort of moving too slow, get it moving. So we're just going to see if we're focusing on a specific part. This is also really great if you have a lot of congestion, like in your sinuses, anything like that. This is really great for that as well. It will help clear congestion. Okay, so we are specifically focusing on the neck And it's not both sides of the neck. It's not the left side, the right side. Yes. Okay. So the right side of the neck. Okay. Um, we also have lymph nodes in the clavicle. These are sort of the major point areas that we're looking at. So let's just see where. So we are doing the clavicle. So this is just a focus. This is just getting things moving again and getting the body to communicate and to initiate the healing processes as well. So we're focusing on the clavicle, yes, and it's bilateral. No, it's not bilateral. Okay, so we're focusing on the right side today. So the interesting thing about, when we are dealing with physical issues is sometimes, depending on what side you're dealing with, it can actually be an indicator as to what you could be dealing with or what could be coming up. So the right side often, it probably looks like the left to you, but this is my right side. So the right side often will uh, tend to have issues. You could be having issues around looking ahead to the future. And the left side often can be related to emotional issues that are unresolved or things from the past that may actually be coming up and they need your attention. So it will come out in a physical form. And that's the amazing thing about our brain, the subconscious mind. Things actually start filtering out through the physical body because it needs our attention. And so I would encourage you to pay attention and just go, okay, where am I experiencing pain right now, and what is the function of that part of the body, and what could my body be trying to communicate to me through pain? So it's a great way to address some of the deeper issues that we may be struggling with as well. Okay, so we're back. We're dealing with the right side of the neck, the right side of the clavicle as well. And then we're dealing with the axilla, which are the armpits. And the axillas, we're just seeing if it's going to be if it's bilateral. It is bilateral, meaning that's both sides. So both the right and the left armpits. And then we also have the spleen. So the spleen helps to purify the blood. So it's a big purifier, cleanser. It represents the spleen represents the sweetness of life. So if you can think of, you know, if we're enjoying life, we're taking those moments to enjoy the sweet things, even if we may be struggling. That'll actually help keep your spleen healthy. Okay, so we're dealing with the spleen. Next is the abdomen. Yes. Okay, so we have the abdomen that we're doing. Okay. It's not bilateral, so it's not both sides, the right side. So we seem to be dealing with the right side. Again, like I said, this could symbolize some issues related to the future. So looking ahead to the future. Is the future scary, or are you excited about the future? Or, there's many things that you could be looking at yourself. Is there something I'm dreading about the future that may be coming up? Okay, and then the next is the groin. And so we have all these lymph nodes throughout the whole body. So the groin. So this is bilateral, meaning both sides of the groin area. And then we also have some lymph nodes down in the elbows. We're not dealing with the elbows. And then the knees as well. Yes, we're dealing with the knees. We'll just see if it's bilateral. No, it's not. So we're dealing with left side, right side. Yes. Okay. So, the right knee area as well. So that's the general lymph system, and this technique will help actually getting that lymph system moving some more and clearing stuff out that may be stuck in the body. So this actually often is released through even emotions and things like that are released through, because emotions and having an emotion or even a thought requires, um, movement. So sorry, I just totally lost my train of thought. Having an emotion is like a chemical reaction within the body. So depending on what that emotion is, that emotion could release a chemical that may actually have a negative effect on the body. And what the lymph system does is it cleans everything out, and it will actually help us move some of the emotions that we may be experiencing out as well. So that doesn't affect us as much. Okay, so we have the lymph system. There are some details on the lymph system now that we're dealing with we've got everything figured out in terms of what we're dealing with. And those details, so there's a definition of consciousness. Now, consciousness sounds like a really big word, but basically it just has to do with our awareness. And a lot of times it's around belief systems. Right now we're dealing with the natural consciousness of the lymph system. So that is reminding the lymph system what what its natural function is, which is moving toxins and waste out of the body so the body can be healthy. So this is really great for the immune system. And we'll just see if there's anything else. Thank you for watching if you're watching today. And if you are catching the replay, hit hashtag replay. All right. And then there's also a pathological consciousness. So this means that we're also dealing with a belief system that is representative of the lymph system. So, like I said, the lymph system is related to protection and to cleansing, and specifically, we're dealing with belief systems around cleansing, purification, and maybe getting rid of toxic thoughts, belief systems that are not serving us anymore. Maybe at one time they were. Maybe you needed something to help you cope, and now this is going, okay, this isn't serving me anymore. And so that this will help to flesh out those types of things as well. So cleansing. All right. And let's just see where else we're going today. So this is also being defined by the element of water. So elements sort of represent the seasons of life, or the life cycle within the body. So the life cycles of cells, the life cycles of various things, just as seasons, have, summer is like a time of flourishing and joy and excitement, and then fall, the leaves are falling off the trees, and then winter represents death and those types of things. So the elements sort of just represent that particular sort of cycle of life within the body. And this is water. So what water relates to is maximum contraction. So it would be like the pulling back. It also can represent death and germination. And one thing passing away, and then the germination of something new coming forward, right? And so this also represents fluidity. So the ability to go with the flow. We've had a lot of changes over the last while, and this really is related to the ability to just let things happen as they happen. Not that we resolve that things will be this way forever, but that we are able to embrace things as they flow. So we'll be able to move and to change and make adjustments with more ease. Okay. Okay, so now basically what we have is we've got the reptilian part of the brain, which is the sort of the first part of the brain at the base, the stem of the brain here, and which manages like our reflexes, all of the stuff that's unconscious, or breathing, or body temperature, things like that. And then on top of that, we've got that part of the brain that we're connecting to the heart. So again, this is about improving communication for optimal health. which will help give us immune system boost. From the heart, we're linking the communication from the heart into the pericardium, which is the sac around the heart that protects the heart. And then from there, we're linking all of those into the lymph system, mostly on the right hand side, as I talked about before. And so the lymph system is a massive player, big player in our health and the immune system. So we're strengthening all of these aspects, and we're letting go of some of the emotions that may be trapped in those parts of the body so that you can have optimal health. So now what we're going to do, we just have one other element here that is coming in. Sorry, not a physical element, but another piece. It's called a satellite. So it's something else that actually informs the whole formula that we're talking about, all these things that we're linking together. And we'll just see what that is. Okay, so specifically it's switching. So switching, what this technique does is it actually helps to reduce stress, and it helps to regulate the stress threshold. And this is really, really great because the stress response, if we're really stressed out, then we get our adrenals going and we get the whole body, fight, flight, freeze mode. And we want to get the body out of that mode and into parasympathetic, which allows for healing. So the resting, relaxation, a calm nervous system. So this is going to help a lot with that as well. And then we're going to tap this out. We're going to use hand positions. And hand positions just means that we're going to do something specific that, so I'm just going to get you to place your hand over your heart. And all we're doing is we're asking the body to focus on this specific area, but it will include everything that we've brought up, okay? So one hand over the heart, and then the other hand, you're just going to tap lightly on your head on both sides of the brain, the right and the left hemisphere. And we're asking the brain to facilitate and to fix the issues that have come up within the formula. So any issues with the brain, the heart, the lymph system, and our stress threshold, we're asking the brain to fix that. And then now you're just going to tap, you can tap over your hand, you're going to tap the heart. And as we tap the heart, we're asking the body to store the information. So the heart stores the information. And then you're just going to tap just over your navel or digestive system, like the intestinal area. And that is symbolic and we asking the body to assimilate and integrate the new information. So all of the new changes that we've made. And as we're doing this, we want to take some nice deep breaths. So just tap on the head again. And then you're going to tap over the heart. Nice deep breath. And every time you take a breath in, it's an opportunity to take in life. And every time you take a breath out, remember it's an opportunity to let go. So just see yourself letting go of some of those things that may be challenging to you right now. Okay, you can take your hand down and we'll just check and see if this formula is still a priority. No, it's not a priority. Okay. And we are going to be ending the mini session. And I hope this has helped you. If you are watching later on, please feel free to tap on the head, the heart, and over the belly area to integrate anything that resonates with you. So as you're watching, you might be like, wow, yes, that totally makes sense for me right now. And as you do that, even though you're watching it later on, it will actually have an incredible impact on your body. So as I said, my name is Crystal Sayers. I'm from New Beginnings Health and Wellness. And I'm so happy that you were able to watch today. I hope you have an amazing day. And if you have any questions or you need some assistance, I am here to help. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye for now.